Saying that men don't lead.
Okay.
Women complain that men don't lead.
Mm.
But when a man says anything or is against anything, he's gay or he
Mm.
needs to mind his business. Y'all so backwards. What woman wants a weak man? It's clear majority of you don't know the nature of
Mm.
man.
Wow.
So we got a couple of different things here. Let's start with the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Women complain that men don't lead. Let's start with that.
Mm.
What you got about that part? Women complain that men don't lead.
I've heard that said a lot, man. You know what I mean? I've heard that especially it like this is not the first tweet I've seen from a woman that says stuff like that. And I've seen other tweets that complain, that women are, the black men need to step up and what we need to do, and we don't lead.
Yeah.
Um, I just say this, man. All the men that I know, we handle our responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? We take care of what we got to. We do lead. You know, but it's a segment out there that don't really know how to lead. You know what I mean? And was never taught that. You can't just say because you a man you a leader. You like that's not really something you can just go learn about. You know what I mean? Like from a book or something like that. You got to kind of there's different ways to do that or learn it. You know what I mean? But it's like you got to be allowed to lead though if you're gonna lead. So it's like um a lot of times when men not led, it's like, well, are not the leaders because the woman don't want to be led. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's it's kind of really a multifaceted issue. You know what I
Right.
mean? Can't just um I think there's both there's roles that both parties need to play in that. Can't just say men don't lead. You know what I mean? Like she says, going forward in the tweet. You know, but honestly, man, how can you lead if somebody don't want to be led? You know?
Yeah. And that's what I want people to understand first. You have to understand that it don't matter what information
Mm,
that a man has.
mm,
Think about all the great leaders in the world who had all the information that they needed for their task.
mm-hmm.
Pointing case. Let's think about when God walked the earth in flesh, that people known as Christ, right?
Okay.
This is God walking the earth.
Mm,
This is God walking the earth trying to show people an example of how we should live.
yeah.
This is God in front of you. This is God showing you this is the same God that's healing people, blind, sick, lame,
Mm,
leprosy,
mm,
issues of blood.
yeah. Feeding the
Or
multitude.
yes,
Yep.
feeding the multitude.
Yep.
And guess what? Even with all that he's shown, even with heaven on earth that he's shown,
Mm,
people still didn't want to be led. So you
that's
know what
true.
that lets me know?
True.
It don't matter sometimes what a man do. A
Mm,
man can have everything.
mm,
A man can have everything. A man can have all the money.
mm,
And guess what? If that woman ain't trying to be submissive and comply and be receptive,
mm.
she just not gonna be that.
Yep.
That's why you gotta let patience have its perfect way, because
Mm,
you'll know that before you least decide to get married to her.
mm-hmm.
You'll start to see those red flags before you start to get married to her.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to understand
Yep.
that some people's past will never allow them to have a good future.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, sometimes you have to look back at that tradition, look back at how you was raised and say it was all wrong.
Mm,
Even though the people who taught you would never admit, because people don't like to admit when they're wrong.
yeah.
But as a person, I grew up and I had to look back at everyone
Mm,
who came before me and say, y'all was wrong.
Mm.
Y'all taught us wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you probably was taught wrong, because most people only can teach what they only know.
They only know, yep.
But they was afraid to look back at their elders, which was their parents and grandparents, and say, y'all was wrong.
Yeah.
So when it comes to women saying man don't lead, I don't think it's man don't lead. You just don't want to be led. It's women who say, well, I can't submit. I can't submit to a person who don't have anything. And I get that. A lot of people like to say, my eyes have to see it before I can follow suit and be behind it. Which is why the scripture says, write it as a plan, write it down, show people the direction you're trying to go. So when you write it down and they see you walking in that direction, when they see you walking in that direction of purpose, they see your actions lining up to your plan.
Yeah.
But this is the problem. Even though your actions be lining up to your plan, some people still are not going to want to be led.
It's true.
Some women still not going to want to be led. Because they already have in their mind, their heart, and their soul that they want to be the boss. They want to be the chief. Not knowing that men have to submit to something too.
That's true.
This is what I want women to understand. And I said it before on a podcast. The problem with y'all don't understand that everybody that comes together to make this ideology of a family has to submit to something. The kids have to submit to the parents. But that's an earthly submission.
Yeah.
That you see with your eyes. The wife has to submit to her husband. That's an earthly submission that she sees with her eyes. I have to submit to him. That means the public has to see me humble myself, not him humble me. The public has to see me humble myself in agreement to him.
Yeah.
We have to submit to the Most High's commands, instructions, demands for us, but y'all don't see that.
You don't see it. Yep.
And because you don't see a Most High in our face as a physical submission, y'all feel like we don't have to submit to nothing. And a lot of people are jealous because they don't have, we're the only person who don't have a fleshly, earthly submission.
Like tangible.
Like a tangible submission.
Yeah.
So when women complain that men don't lead, don't get it wrong. Like you said, every man don't have a plan. And that's what it is. It's not that he don't lead, he don't have a plan.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it is.
It's true.
It's not that he can't lead, he don't have a plan. He doesn't, and you're right, he doesn't have anything that he can put into play because he just haven't got to that part of life to even think about that yet. But this is what a woman needs to know. This is why if a man ain't showing you a plan that he's working towards, that he's showing you that his actions are lining up with, your legs shouldn't be open to him.
Facts.
Your legs should never open to a man that ain't showing you a plan. And fellas, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not here on gold team fellas. Line the fellas up so they can get some ass. If you ain't got no plan showing no woman that you're working to it, that she can patiently sit back and see that you're working towards. I ain't talking about just I'm recording a mixtape and I got song number 1 done today and then song 4 through 5 done on next week. Nah, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a true plan. A true plan. That you're working towards. That means a plan to better yourself emotionally, to better yourself physically, to better yourself mentally, to better yourself financially, and to better yourself spiritually.
That's a big one.
If a woman can't see you working towards that plan, but You know, women have opened their legs up for way far less. So yeah, when some people, we just have to get to the point and respect the fact that some people, just like I said, don't want to be led, man. Some people don't want to be led.
Yeah.
You know, everybody didn't want to be led by Moses.
It's true.
You know, like I said, look at Jesus. Everybody didn't want to be led by Jesus.
Yeah. Still
when Jesus required people to live a certain way, they dipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so that lets you know that no matter who they is, some people just, and fellas, when you find a woman who just don't want to be led, bro, I hope you ain't married to her, bro, because you done made a covenant with them.
Yeah, man, you gotta go the other way. Don't do it.
All right, so let's go to the second part. It says, but when men say anything or is against anything, he's gay, or he needs to mind his business. This is one of the ones I want to stick on.
Okay.
Because I honestly believe in the effeminization and the emasculation of man. There's an agenda for that.
Yeah.
And I think these women are playing into it. Because and like I say, you know, they have this concept of hate disguised as jokes. But some of these women, I think they really believe this. Like, I think they really have gotten to a point in their mind that if a man that they're dealing with is not going all in all, along with everything that they want to do, everything that they say, and it's not for her happiness, because like he's literally like, because this is the problem, and I don't blame men. I just giving a man the outs of how to fix it. The problem with most men, with most males, is that they do at a lot of times in their life, especially when they're young.
Okay.
When young men are young, they do more. Have you ever seen like the relationship of like one of your homeboys, and he has this girl, but like you his homeboy, and if you pay attention closely, he kind of always picks the homeboy over the girl.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah.
So he always kind of picks his homeboy over his girl. And this is the thing, like, a woman will tell her boyfriend, I don't want you in the streets, right? I don't want nothing to happen to you.
Yeah.
I really want what's best for you. But he can't understand that. He'll look at her and say, man, you hating on me. I'm out here trying to do it. But his homeboy will tell him, his so-called homeboy will tell him, bro, we got to go hit this lick. And everything that his homeboy, so-called homeboy, saying is not for the greater good of him. Yeah. It's for the greater good of, we might try to get some money in our pocket, but you don't see how many the points of demise.
Yes.
Of when you hear your homeboy talking.
Yeah.
So from that dichotomy and from that relationship, a lot of women have felt like a lot of men have been, or a lot of males are more in love with their boys. And that's why I say, when I told you a couple of podcasts ago, most males, their first heartbreak most likely came from a man that their woman never stood a chance. They first, a lot of, not that these people are homosexual, but their first love, their first like their first visuals of alliance and allegiance and all that came from their fellow man.
Like brotherhood,
Brotherhood. And when that brotherhood broke their heart, everything else after that never stood a chance. So when a woman may be speaking to her man and he don't listen to her advice, but he listens to his homeboy's advice.
Mm.
See, a lot of these women undercoverly see that as a love affair.
Gotcha.
Not saying that these two men sleeping with each other, but that's a person that she will never be able to supersede and say, I'm truly your best friend.
Mm.
Which is why you see a lot of women in relationships have best friends in other men.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
You know?
That's true.
So fellas, first of all, us as men, we don't ever have to mind our business because we are the frontline protection of this planet.
Yep, plain and simple.
You know, we the frontline protection of our households. We the frontline protections of the jobs that people work at. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to danger in this world, when you holler and scream, you don't expect to see a woman coming. You expect to see a man.
Yep.
So I know a lot of women ain't gonna like that.
That's what it is, though.
It's just what it is.
Yep.
You know, a lot of women out here be wanting to move how they want to move, and then you have a male that may tell them, man, you might need to stay in the house. You might don't need to be out here. You might don't need to go to this dude's house this late at night. But guess what? It's we player hating on the dude. We hating this. We trying to stop them from going to live life and be liberated and stuff like that. No, we just know what's out there. But guess what? When a woman don't want to be, see, you can. I tell men like this. You can find out if a woman wants to be led by looking at her friendships and her family and her family ships with men. If she don't listen, this I tell a woman like I tell a man like this. When you was a young girl, when you was a young boy, when you was a younger man, and that girl father said he didn't want you around her, or he didn't want her around you, but she still defied his word, that shows you that she didn't want to be led.
There you go. Yep.
Because if she give her biological father or her biological brother or her biological uncle, somebody who's looking out for her, showing them that she don't want to be led, what you think you gonna do?
Yeah. You don't hold a candle to them.
You don't hold a candle to them, but I get it. But you're providing a feeling of lust that they can't provide to her life. See, that's the only difference between the only difference between me and my father-in-law, or my grandfather-in-law, or my wife's uncles, or whatever like that, is that she respect me like she respect them. She listen to them, but at the end of the day, I provide a feeling in her life that supersedes what they tell her. Yeah. Or the same with her mother. Yeah. She respects her mother, but at the end of the day, I touch certain spots that nobody else can touch. Yeah. And if a person don't have that under control, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's why you have so many old people say, "Oh, you around here, you lost behind that. You know what? You lost behind that P. You lost behind that D. Don't let that P or that D control your mind." Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah. So when it comes to things like that, you can stuff like that will have kids bucking up against their parents. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I definitely want to touch on real quick. What's up? What she said, when a man says anything or is against anything, he's gay or he needs to mind his own business. Gay, that's just like a tactic people use when they don't want to hear what you got to say. So basically what I want to really focus on when he says something or is against anything that, like, if it's a tough conversation, like let's just say something that's emotional. You pick something, whatever. A lot of stuff that's trending on Twitter is emotional. You know what I mean? So like if most of the people are saying one thing, oh, this, but if you stand on your square as a man to be like, nah, I don't agree with that. I feel like this. We as a community can be like, okay, yeah, he got a point, or let's see it from his. Let's talk about it
granted, we might see it differently, or it might be a tough conversation. But the thing we as a community go to is, oh, you gay, you lame, you square, you this, you that. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to listen to another point of view and have a constructive conversation. We ain't got to agree on everything. You know what I mean?
So don't, yeah, most definitely.
I might see it different than you, but like just because I see it different, you don't make me stupid or gay or whatever. Whatever insult you want to throw at me. Because you don't like what I'm saying. You know, and like it's not women to do it because dudes do it too. You know what I mean? So like I think we need to get to a place where we can have a constructive conversation and not let emotion get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotta be open and gotta be open and gotta be receptive.
And we can agree to disagree. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody to agree, because we all think differently. We're not all gonna see eye to eye on 100% of issues. That's not how it works. That's why each one of us have a different fingerprint.
Exactly.
That's akin to you, and that's your fingerprint. That's your identity. That's your DNA. You're gonna see things different. It's cool, You know what I mean? But like, or if you're not doing something, if you're not living the way somebody else think you should, man, I done heard that before, because the way I choose to live. You know what I'm saying? But like, so if you're gonna walk a different path, you better be ready for that. You know what I mean? So like, that just come with the territory. And like I say, it's not really, angry or nothing like that. It's just like I had to come to a point where I'm like, okay, I see it now. Like, when you choose to stand out, you're going to get attacked for that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Most people want you to fit into their box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go with the crowd. Go with everybody else saying. Nah. Sometimes you might have to. Most times you might have to go away from what the crowd doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's called for men. It's a call for men to stand bold.
Yeah.
And every time a man stand bold, he get attacked.
And
women
too. You know what I mean? Like you said, because nowadays it's if a woman is if you're trying to like say you might not want to go to that dude's house or you whatever. Oh no, you trying to control me? You trying to control my sexuality? Nah, you might not want to go that path. And if a woman chooses to be traditional or submissive, they call it pick-me's, because I see this on Twitter all the time.
All the time, bro.
All the time. You know what I mean? So it's just, we need to come out of that,
Yeah.
And just have constructive conversations,
Yeah, that's definitely something that I always like. I'm like, yeah, man, it's a deflection. It's a deflection tactic, man.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up, y'all? Y'all always want to call somebody gay, and at the end of the day, like I tell the LGBT community, hey, I put y'all on the clock. I put y'all on the clock because they throwing your they throwing your lifestyle on everything as an insult. So are y'all gonna jump on these women or what?
Yeah, y'all gonna